Welcome to the boating adventure. Well, a very good morning to you. It is Monday the 20th of May 2024 and today I am on the Cromford Canal and just behind me is the Cromford Wharf. I've only ever walked this canal quite some time ago now. In order to paddle this canal you do need to get permission from Derbyshire County Council, and if you ring them up on the number which is on paddling.com, and there you will need to book in, and you can either book a morning slot or an afternoon slot, so it's 9 till 1 or it's 1 till about 5 I think. There's only one boat that goes up and down here on a regular basis, and that is the Birdswood trip boat, which has a trip out in the morning and one in the afternoon. If you're a member of British Canoeing, then you don't have to pay anything. I'm not sure what you would have to pay if you're not. So I recommend get your membership of British Canoeing, and not only does it give you access and loads of information, but you get the insurance thrown in. So the Cromford Canal was once connected to the Erywash Canal at Langley Mill, and it went from Cromford Wharf here, where you have the mills, the Cromford Mill, built by enforcer Richard Arkwright in 1771 I believe, and I think the Cromford Canal was completed about 1794. We are in the Derbyshire Dales at the moment. We're not quite in the Peak District just yet. It's only a couple of miles away. But this is a beautiful area, and it's nothing like it would have been around the turn of the 18th century. I used to have a cafe at Matlock Bath, which is a couple of miles further on, and we would very often organise walks from the cafe, and then you'd come back to the cafe for a cream tea. We weren't daft. But we'd organise the walks, and we had some guides to help us who had a whole load of knowledge of the area. And the one thing that they told us was that at the beginning of the 18th century, the landscape round here was very different. A lot of the wood had been taken for building, for the mills and for the housing round about. So particularly in Matlock Bath, the landscape was pretty bare, and it got to the point where the Duke of Devonshire had to step in and do something about it. So it was thanks to the Duke of Devonshire that the landscape started to be restored and a little bit more respected. This whole area around where we are at the moment was very much mined for lead mining, and quite a few other minerals, fluorspar and that kind of thing. So it had been mined since the time of the Romans. So although it doesn't look like it now, this was a very industrial area. And back in the 18th century, they didn't quite have the planning laws and the environmental concerns that we have now. So we're coming up to the first bridge, which is just a connection to a farmer's field. On the side of the bridge there, you can see the markings made by the ropes that were there to pull the narrowboat from a horse, and the towpath was used for the horses. The hill in the background there takes you to the village of Holloway, and Holloway was the home to Florence Nightingale. She wasn't born there, but she lived there from a fairly early age. Yeah. It is a very pleasant walk along here for people. The footpath, the towpath has been made up, and it's properly hard surface, so you're not going to get your feet muddy. And it goes for quite a long way. You can go all the way to the village of Wat Stanwell, where there is a nice coffee shop, and there's a railway station. So when I did this walk some time ago with Sandy and Steve, we walked all the way from Cromford to Wat Stanwell, went into the cafe, and then got the train back. to the car, and that was a really good day out. So we're heading to High Peak Wharf, and that was a bit of a transshipment place back in the 18th and 19th centuries. The quarried products were taken from places like Wirksworth and brought down the hill by means of an inclined plane, which sounds very grand, but it was basically trucks that were let down the hillside and pulled back up the hillside by means of a steam engine and a very long rope. You can actually visit the site of the old steam engine house just up the hill. It's quite a pull, and you can imagine it being a real struggle. When I did a video of the Derby Canal, which I walked during lockdown, I had a comment from a viewer who was quite brutal really about the work of canal preservation societies, and in particular the Derby one, and basically saying, you know, they've been at it for years and it's a complete waste of time, they're delusional and it'll never happen, and this, that and the other. But I think what you have to remember is that when these canals were constructed, they were financed by very wealthy industrialists. And at the time, I think relatively labour would have been quite cheap. They probably didn't have all the planning laws and legal work that you have to go through these days to do anything. So now the preservation and restoration of many of these kind of canals is left to small individual societies, and it's just a question of doing a little bit at a time. When I did this canal a few years ago, we walked to Aqueduct Cottage, which is not far from where we are now, and at the time it was derelict. It had no roof, and it looked in a bit of a sorry state. And so the Preservation Society have worked on that in the last few years, and I want to go and visit it whilst we're here and just have a look at the progress that this small group of people, this band of volunteers have made. You know, small steps. It may take years and years to achieve these goals really, but hey ho, it's better than just leaving it to go to rack and ruin. And here I am enjoying the fruits of their labour. And not only do they provide great places for wildlife, but it's for exercise and just getting out in the fresh air. So if you get the chance to support your local canal restoration preservation society, it's worth thinking about. I knew you were here. I knew you were here. Somebody gave you away. Okay, so I'm now going to attempt to get under that bridge, so I'm going to have to drop the camera down, it's too tall, and I'm going to have to lie down, I think, but I reckon I could just do that if I just paddle with my hands. I'm sure I can get through there. If not, I'm stuck. I don't want to lift the boat out, there's nowhere to do it really. We'll see how we go. Okay, so I did manage to get under that bridge quite easily by just lying down. I'm not going to go too much further. There is a winding hole, and that is the extent of the navigable part. Okay, so we're coming up to those wharf buildings. And then the white railings that you can see in front of us, and a white post there, that is the end of the navigable part of the Cromford Canal. And the building in front of me here with the chimney, that's a pumping house which was used to maintain the canal water levels. This is the leeward pump house at the entrance to the Derwent Aqueduct. At the other end of the Derwent Aqueduct is Aqueduct Cottage, and I've sent Helen and Sandy ahead to get some photographs for this vlog so that you can see some before and after shots of what the cottage is like now after the work of the Preservation Society. Aqueduct Cottage was a lengthman's cottage at the junction of the Cromford Canal and the Nightingale Spur. It was owned by Peter Nightingale, who was the great-great-uncle of Florence Nightingale. The Nightingales were a well-to-do family in this area, which included Cromford and the Belper areas. The father-in-law of my third great-grandfather was Samuel Nightingale, who was born in Belper and part of the Nightingale clan. So I hope you've enjoyed this little paddle along the Cromford Canal. I certainly have. It's been on my bucket list for quite some time. Ever since I really got the kayak, I wanted to come back and do this little paddle. It's certainly a lot easier than doing the last paddle, which was the Stainforth and Keedbeat Canal on a very, very windy day. There's hardly anything here today, no wind at all, so it's calm and relaxing. So thank you very much for watching and for all your support, and as always, do take care.